Should an instructor be ready for the class? Um, I'll tell you, this one is kind of ridiculous in my opinion, and it's coming from Bobby. He sent me a short story. Um, uh, as I understand, there is a scenario that takes place quite often in his classes where instructor comes in. And I do understand, to all fairness, this is somebody who is lower rank, but still, even if you blew a purple belt and you're teaching, your preparation reflects not only on you and your skill, but also your professor or the academy facility, the organization that you represent. But I think there is a bigger issue behind all of this is representing an organization or specific professor. That's one, but two, when we step into the instructor role, we are there to benefit our students. We are there for our students to get better, for them to grow, for them to learn jiu-jitsu that particular day, whatever the topic is, whatever the subject, the curriculum um, allows you to teach. They are there to learn, and if you are not prepared, um, they are wasting their time. And that's how I look at this. And I've done a lot of instructor courses. I all of my instructors go through course that we have prepared, which is hours upon hours of training how to teach. And over the years, I came to this very simple conclusion: just because you know jiu-jitsu does not mean that you know how to teach jiu-jitsu. Those are two separate skills. Performance of jiu-jitsu is definitely knowing the art, knowing the skill of of defending yourself, escaping, attacking, and so on, being in control of that environment. However, the moment you try to project what's in your mind, the skill that you have, there are certain strategies that you have to involve in order for your students to receive the information correctly. Think of it like as a quarterback. As quarterback throws the ball, there is certain responsibility on whoever's catching that ball to catch it correctly. However, majority of the responsibility is on the quarterback. He is sending the information out. The timing has to be correct. The way how it's being projected, the place where the ball will end needs to be precise. It all needs to be timed. In some sense, instructors have a similar responsibility. The way how we project the information has to keep our students engaged. It has to keep our students interested. It has to keep our students on topic. I often say that too many questions is not a good idea, actually. It makes students confused. Especially at the beginning of the journey, the students have to have a very narrow focus of what they are trying to learn, because jiu-jitsu is so broad, it's so deep, and there's so many layers as they continue exploring this. So, should the instructor be prepared? Hell yeah. Matter of fact, if your instructor is not prepared, I'm going to tell you, you should question where you are. You should question the facility where you train. You should question the organization. And oftentimes, to all fairness, especially if they are lower ranked individuals teaching, they simply don't know any better. Oftentimes, and I'm going to take this perhaps even controversial approach to all of this, oftentimes those individuals, they just don't know any better. They try, but none of that changes the fact that they should be prepared, right? So one, we're talking about different layers of preparedness here. One is knowing how to teach. That's one thing. But then even if you do know how to teach, you still have a responsibility of educating yourself what you should teach. You should collect your thoughts. I tell all of my instructors, spend literally 10 minutes day before, not the day off, the day before your class, to really reflect on what are you going to teach, how are you going to present the information. Think about your audience. What language are you going to use? Do they know what half guard is? Do they know what, I don't know, octopus guard is, or spider guard, or bear and bolo? I don't know. Hopefully you don't teach any of these things in the fundamental classes. However, even if you do, you need to think about it. Do they know what these things are? Because the way how you present the information will either raise or lower their success. And ultimately, we are here to help them. We are here to set them for success. So teaching jiu-jitsu is deep. In fact, as I mentioned a moment ago, we do this every single year at my academy. We have instructors course, which does not teach one technique of Jiu-Jitsu. What does teach is how to be in front of class, how to speak publicly, how to address students, how to correct people, how to tell somebody that they're doing something wrong without making them feel like crap. Because ultimately, end of the day, students will fail. End of the day, students will do things wrong. End of the day, they might even feel embarrassed. Hopefully, they won't get hurt, because if they do, they're probably not coming back. But the other things will happen. How do you manage an environment when you have 20, 30, 50 students on a mat and you're really manipulating the situation where your presentation is stimulating them and it keeps them to come back more. It keeps them engaged enough to come back for more, to continue learn, continue engage in research, and continue allows them to find more as this journey continues. And oftentimes, jiu-jitsu is referred as journey because it does take a long time. And a lot of times, oftentimes, it does require a um, personal research and involvement from the student themselves. It's not on the instructor. The students has to do some work. However, especially at the beginning, first year or two, a lot of their responsibility does fall on the instructor. An unprepared instructor could ruin the whole thing. I know some great organizations that have not only curriculums, but the way how they teach, how it's verbalized, how it's being presented, all that is um, very well structured. I also know some organizations that they don't do any of this, and everything is shoot off the hip. Everything is random. Everything is almost chaotic in a sense. And I do know that statistically, the first one, the organized one, the one that sets students for success, has by far higher retention rate and has by far higher success rate from a learning perspective as far as the students are concerned. Just something to think about. I don't think of jiu-jitsu as right or wrong, and I'm not here to tell anybody that instructors are doing a bad job. However, I will tell you that there is a different way of presenting information, and if you're not prepared, your students are not learning as much as they could be, and that's a shame. That's a shame. If you ever want to learn a little bit more about this, I put out a lot of thought into leadership and into how to teach correctly. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share my thoughts. And then my instructor course is also available online, so you can take advantage of that if you choose to do so. Keep on training. Peace.